the staff slides in front of me the bill, and there's like 100 items on it. What I realized in that moment was the gay guys set me up, and now what am I gonna do? What is up, guys, and welcome back to the One Night in Bangkok podcast. I'm Eric. I'm here with Ern. This is Bangkok's Best podcast. So thank you for watching. If you're coming to Bangkok soon, if you want to live here in Thailand, hit the subscribe button. We've got so many more shows coming up, and we don't want you to miss anything. If you want to support the channel, feel free to buy us a drink at the link below. And also don't forget that we are on Apple and Spotify podcasts if you want the audio-only version while you're driving or you're at the gym or you're working at your desk. Now, let's hop into it. Tonight, I have a few topics I want to talk to Ern about. And I think that for every foreigner out there that's been to Thailand for more than 5 minutes, they're gonna be able to relate to these topics. And I think there's going to be a lot of discussion, and I really want to see what all of you guys think about these situations. So I'm going to jump into it. Let me know down below what you guys think, if these things have ever happened to you or if you can relate at all. Okay. First thing that happened to me this week. The question is, are foreigners, especially Western foreigners, do you think that Thai people think of them as ATMs? Like, do you think they just have so much money they can just take money from them whenever they want?
As a girl or as
in general, do you think Thai people think that? Because I'm going to tell you what happened. But do you think that Thai people think like, oh, foreigners, Western foreigners, they have money, they can pay for whatever?
For me, it's true. It's what they think because of your currency, right? When you exchange to Thai baht, it's pretty high rate. So most of them, for sure, they think like that. But when it's come to real life, just to see like the real people, it could be different thoughts. Depends on like how you look, or like the more you know about them, then like, is this really is this a person that have money or not?
Okay,
overall, just like overall, the first thought, yes. This
is what happened. So the other night, I was out doing something all day, and I was finishing up, and my friend, lady friend, who I'm not going to name, but it's someone I've known for a while, she said, oh, me and my friends are going bowling at Ekamai. Do you want to come with us? And I said, oh yeah, I got to go home first and, change, but I can meet you there. So I met them there. By the time I got there, they'd already played 2 games. It was her and her 2 gay friends. And I mentioned that detail because I'm not sure if that actually affects this particular situation. Now, I've met these 2 friends, these 2 gay guys, once before, briefly. And they weren't particularly friendly to me. But, when I met them, it was late and they kind of already been drinking for a while, and I didn't think anything of it. Mm-hmm. So whatever, I get to the bowling alley, which was actually... It was really cool. It's next to BTS Ekamai. I don't know if you've ever been there.
Never.
It's on the top floor of the mall, and it's a much different experience than what I've experienced in the US.
Does it look good?
Well, it looks good, but like you walk in, the staff is there to greet you. They bring you over to this like shoe sizer thing. Like you put your foot on a thing, it tells you exactly what size you are, and they give you the shoes. And it was very efficient.
Oh yeah.
Which, to be honest, in Thailand, not everything is always as efficient. Mm-hmm. So I was very impressed because, in America, if you go bowling, if you guys are bowlers out there, you have to tell them your shoe size. Then I'm like, oh, this one's too big. Can you give me the smaller one? It's like, it's much clumsier. I don't know. I was really impressed with and they had a DJ. They had this girl DJ who I thought was actually really good. I think her name was
fun place.
I think her name was Pim. I don't know. I don't remember. So, I was actually impressed with the bowling place. I think they had like 20 lanes. So, the only thing I didn't like about it is it's Pride Month right now. And I showed you the video on all the screens. They had like rainbow, happy Pride Month, happy this. And I'm thinking, I don't need to go gay bowling. I mean, I'm already gay bowling with the friends. I don't need the rainbows and everything, So anyway, we play the games, and also I was shocked at how good these three people were at bowling. Have you ever been bowling?
Never play, never been.
I mean, in the US, most people, they go like here or there, maybe once every few years or something as like a fun thing. But this girl and her two friends, her two gay friends, were ridiculously good. And I have no idea why they're so good at bowling. Okay. I happen to know they live near this place, so maybe they go a lot. So we play another 2 games. They kick my ass. And then we're finishing up, and the 2 guys were a little bit ahead of us. So they changed their shoes, and they walked back to the counter to drop the shoes off. And so I wasn't sure if they had already paid before I got there, because remember, they arrived early, and they already played 2 games.
Yeah.
Because in some places in the US, you have to tell them like, okay, I want to play 4 games, and then you pay up front. And she's like, oh no, we didn't pay yet. So I'm like, okay. So the 2 guys already went up to the counter. They returned their shoes, and I saw them give like a card, and then they walked away. And what I later figured out was they had like a member rewards card, and they gave their member card. They returned their shoes, and they walked away from the counter.
Yeah.
So then I walk up to the counter, and the staff slides in front of me the bill. Now, the bill, which I have the picture here, maybe I'll put it, it's all in Thai, and there's like 100 items on it. And I don't know what's what, because they had ordered some drinks, like not alcohol, but like, you know, Pepsi or water, some snacks. And then there was the shoe. The shoes were only like 50 baht each. But I was shocked at how expensive it was. It was 2,900 baht for 4 games. And I was thinking like...
For 4 of you?
Yeah, so the way they priced it, because at the time, I can't read the receipt. It's fully in Thai. So I took a picture and I figured I'll read it later. But I was confused, like, how could it possibly be this much? And then I'm also confused because, oh, they didn't pay anything? They just walked away?
Did you ask the staff?
Well, the staff also is like, I don't blame them. They just, English was not super easy.
Mm-hmm.
And the staff doesn't know. And from the staff's point of view, they probably assume like, oh, the white guy, obviously he's paying, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what I realized in that moment was the gay guys set me up. They went to the counter, dropped their reward card so they get the points.
Yeah.
Then they walked away. They walked like outside.
They leave?
They left the immediate area. And I walk up and they give me the bill. And now what am I gonna do? Because now it's a lose-lose. If I turn to the girl and I complain...
What about your lady friend?
Yeah, so...
What she said?
Well, first I was just confused, and she kind of like did the thing where like she started to pull out the money kind of thing, but...
No, but it could be easy. You're just like, oh, did it pay yet? You can just ask her like, well, what's going to be a problem? No, it's just asking. If they didn't pay, it's just like, oh, okay, like I got it, and then you just pay.
Well, I think the guys out there can relate to this situation because you don't want to seem like...
I know, like guys like to be like, it's okay, I got this, but...
Part of the problem here was I didn't even know what was going on. Like I can tell you now, because now I translated the receipt, I can see what the charges were. And by the way, it was 400 baht per person per game, which seems like a really, really high price. So that's 1,600 baht per game for the 4 of us. That's a lot, I think. And the crazy part was I was only there for the second 2 games. So the first 2 games, I wasn't even there. So I wasn't even there.
So how long in each game? Like how long you can play?
I don't know. Depends on... You don't know how it works.
I never... That's why I asked.
I was just confused because I couldn't read the receipt and I didn't know exactly what was going on. And I just thought it was crazy if these 2 guys just walked out. Like I almost didn't believe that's what was happening. So, and I didn't want to... And then I realized, oh, I see what's going on. I think the girl knows these guys were trying to stick it to me. And she feels uncomfortable because she knows what's happening. But she, in Thai groups, in groups of Thai people, I feel like more than in the West, there's like a hierarchy
Mm-hmm.
of who's in the group.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like she's at the bottom of this hierarchy. And so maybe it was uncomfortable for her to say, hey, get over here and pay. Because this girl is not, I know a lot of people will be like, oh, Thai girls, this and that. I've spent a good amount of time with this particular person, and she's not like that at all. So I know I'm pretty confident this was on the two gay guys. So what do you think about that?
Well, as for me, if I invited someone, like, I should have, like, I should explain, like, okay, what is this and this, how much we pay, and, you know, explain everything. Like, you, of course, like, once you get into the counter and then you can see, like, the friend that you invited, like, their face, and then what their reaction, then, like, why you have to try to be.
But would you, if you were the girl in this situation, would you turn to your older friends and say, hey, get back here? Like,
of course, like, because I invited, like,
Yeah,
if I invited you, and of course they have to pay. But if you a guy and then you just like, no, I got this, you say this after that, then it's fine. But of course, why we have to, you know, try to make you pay? Like, it's not make sense. But I think in a way that, but if you are the person that invited us, it could be different. Like, you maybe, it seems like, okay, you're willing to pay for that. But if I invited, why?
Right.
Well, I'm not gonna force anybody to pay for that. Which is like, if you just like split the bills and it's not just, it's just like 500, 600, it's not that much. So why is gonna be a problem? Why you have to make someone pay for you?
I think a lot of foreigners might say, oh, don't be a cheap Charlie, just pay for it. You know, you're American, whatever. You know, they're Thai. Like, for some reason, Thai people have nothing to, you know, they have nothing. So what do you think I did?
You just pay?
So, yeah, I took a picture of it so I could deal with this later.
You use ChatGPT to translate
No,
it
I just
later.
took a picture first, and then I paid.
Yeah.
And I still couldn't understand how the bill could be so much because I didn't know what the prices were at that
But
time.
she did say nothing?
I don't remember what she said. She at least like tried to offer to pay something, but I think she felt uncomfortable because she knew what the gay guys were doing. So then they're like, oh, we'll drive you out. He has his car. So I'm like, okay. So we go to the parking garage. This guy has a brand new, like, Honda, fully spec'd out, like luxury Honda, leather seats, all the options, red plate on it. Red plate means it's a new car.
New car.
Right? And I was like, what the heck? What, this guy? I'm like, get out of here. So now I'm not happy. Okay. And so I ended up leaving them and I went to go eat. They were not friendly either. That was the other thing. They clearly were not pleased with me for whatever reason. So I went to eat by myself. I left them. And when I got to the restaurant and I was talking to my friend, and he was like, no, you can't let them get away with that. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So I first thing I did was I translated the receipt and I calculated what those two guys owed, which was a lot. It came out to at least 1,600. So that was a lot, a big percentage. So I sent it to the girl. I'm like, I sent a picture of the receipt and I said, oh, your friends forgot their share. And it said 1,600. And I just sent my QR. And immediately she said, okay, ka. And then 2 seconds later, she transferred me the money. But the part I felt bad about is she transferred me the money.
Yeah.
And I think she did not say anything to them. I think she probably just paid it herself. And that's the part that sucks.
I don't know.
Because I think for Thai people, they tend to be very non-confrontational, especially if it's someone older or, you know, higher status or something. So I feel like she's not gonna go to them and be like, hey, you shouldn't have done this. You need to pay. So maybe Ern's different, guys. So don't think of Ern, you know, of Ern as
like, well, when I went to some places like this, I invited someone and we were like friends. I said first like, okay, how much we have to pay? Okay, and then someone just like, oh, it's okay, I got this, I'm gonna pay this. then you just need to talk. Or even a guy, you should talk as well. I feel like most of the time, you guys men like to be like, it's okay, no worries. But sometimes you don't have to do that all the time. But it's your friends. Like, what do they have to expect from you? Your friends, you just split the bills. Who cares? It's your money.
Yeah. Well,
I know.
In this case, I was like, nah, you gotta send it over. So, but I think pretty much every guy that's been to Thailand has probably had some experience like this.
Yeah, maybe
where
99% of them.
And I don't mean like you go on a date with a girl and you pay for the date. That's not what I mean. I mean a situation, especially with a group, and they kind of pull a fast one on you. It's very rude. Normally, this kind of thing doesn't happen to me because the people I choose to hang out with and the way you carry yourself dictates a lot about what's going to happen to you. Hey guys, I wanted to jump in really quick and let you know that if you've been thinking about learning Thai this year, or maybe you just want to get a little better, I've got a great option for you to check out. I spoke to my friend Chris from Retired Working For You, and he recently started the Thai Language Challenge. It blends the benefits of learning online at your own pace with a real-life, in-person classroom environment. And yeah, you even get a real-life teacher, Krufa, who's very fun and very easy to learn from. There are a few different packages available, so whether you just want to learn the basics for your first trip to Thailand, or if you really want to be able to have a full-blown conversation in Thai, check out what they have at the link below. And they were nice enough to give our subscribers a free flashcard game to learn the 100 must-know Thai words. All the information is in the link below. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Now, let's get back to the episode. But I did have another situation similar to this. It was back during COVID, and it was kind of towards the tail end of COVID, but there were still some like regulations. And we went to, I think Bad Guy Mark and I went to Route 66 in RCA. And I met a girl there, and this is when the clubs had to close early, like before 2, let's say. And I met a girl there, and I'm talking to her, and she's like, oh, we're going to go to an after party in Thang Lo. Do you want to come? So I'm like, okay. So I went with her and her Thai friends all in one car. They're driving. There was like 5 of us, maybe 6 of us, like a lot in one car. And they were like, oh, we're going to pick up alcohol on the way home. And at that time, or even now, they don't sell alcohol after midnight, right? It's midnight? Yeah. But there was some small, like, what I would call mom and pop shop, like very local, illegal shop that sells whatever, whenever. And so they pulled up to one of these shops, and the girl gets out. I had to get out too because I was on the end. The girl gets out and I get out, and I'm not drinking any alcohol. I think you guys know that by now. But I figured I'll get like whatever, a Red Bull or whatever. So I go up to the counter, and she orders like 4 bottles of whatever, whiskey, mixers, like all this different stuff. And then just does like one of these, like looks at me, and I'm thinking like, oh, okay, whatever. Like I'll just pay. And then when we get in the car, everyone will just, oh, here you go, here you go, here you go. Like that kind of thing. Guess what? That didn't happen. Oh. We got in the car. No one said anything. We get to the after party, and basically they all just ignored me. And I was like, oh, I've been had. They took me.
But you didn't ask them.
They took me to fund their little adventure. And then, And I was like, but I blame myself because I should have said something.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, if I knew they were going to do that, obviously I wouldn't go, or I would say something at the time. But I think most Thai people are quite polite, and this doesn't usually happen to me. So I just thought, oh, there's no way they're just gonna.
Don't you think that she just assumed that you just want to pay for all of that?
No, I think it was a setup. I think this girl had no interest in me. I would not even be surprised if this girl already had a boyfriend. It was very clear to me that they just brought me for this purpose. And then, because once we got to the after party, It's like I didn't even exist.
Yeah, this is not good when you're invited someone to like some party. Like you make someone to pay for it.
Yeah. Also, I
or
think
like to pay it's fine, but just like everybody has to pay.
I think in that situation, it was 2 girls and 2 gay guys. So I'm noticing a trend now, guys. If your girl is hanging around with some, Thai guys that are gay, I don't know, maybe watch out.
But not my friends.
Yeah.
Sorry, not my friends. Yeah.
But are you aware? Like, I think a lot of foreigners feel like this thing happens a lot, or their girlfriend's family. I hear that a lot. Like they go to visit their girlfriend's family or the girlfriend's village, and all of a sudden, like,
yeah, I heard of that. I've seen of that a lot, but it's not my family. It's not my friends that doing that. Like even like with my ex-boyfriend, we hang out together with my family, and then like he's about to pay, and then my mom's like, no, I'm gonna pay. I'm your parents. So this is I'm not familiar with. It's just like I've seen some people, but not like the people that is around me.
Yeah, and to counteract the story I just told, I recently told a story on this podcast, which I'm not sure if the episode is out yet, but I went out with a new girl on a trip, suddenly a trip, and this girl has much less than I think, a lot of these other people, but they wouldn't let me pay for anything. They wouldn't let me pay for the entrance to the national park. They wouldn't let me pay for the food.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So that has actually been most of my experience here in Thailand. I feel like when you're with a group of Thai people, like even I visited a girl's family at her country house, I'll call it, and it's very humbling to see how a lot of Thai people live. And they were going to make dinner, so
very welcoming.
So we went to the market to get food, and like a wet market basically, so the mom can get food. And I thought the least I could do is pay for the ingredients for the mom to make dinner for everybody. But they wouldn't
which is not expensive at all. It's just
right. It was probably like, I don't know, 300 baht.
30, 300.
Yeah, for a whole group of people, like a ton of stuff. But they wouldn't even let me pay for that. So that's been most of my experience here in Thailand, which is why I was so shocked when this thing happened with the bowling. So let me know what you guys would have done if you guys were at the bowling alley and the friends walked away and left you with the bill. What would you have done? Be honest. So, all right. So what else do we have on the list here? Okay. So do you know Tim Newton? He used to be on the Tiger News. Do you know what the Tiger News is?
Tiger?
Yeah, it's like one the English language.
Yeah, of course. You show me that.
Tiger News is like the English language news outlet, mostly for foreigners, I guess. And Tim Newton, I don't know if he was an owner or he just used to be involved, but he's since separated and does his own YouTube thing now. He does like a news thing. Anyway, I watch him sometimes, and he popped up, and the title of the video was like, actually, I don't want to misquote it, so I'm going to read it exactly. It was, "New Rules in the Philippines Targets YouTubers and Vloggers." And what the story is about is, we did the video with Legal Mindset, Andrew, about those streamers in the Philippines and Korea. They're getting in trouble. Well, I guess the Philippines, in reaction to this, has made new laws that basically say that you can't film people in public unless you have their consent. Like, even if they're in the background, they need to be blurred out. And it's actually pretty strict. And I understand why they have that reaction, because this streaming thing is kind of out of control. But my problem with Tim's video was he didn't really relate it so much to like the live streamers that are causing a nuisance on purpose. He was talking about like YouTubers and vloggers, which is obviously a huge thing here in Thailand.
Yeah.
And he expressed the opinion that he would like to see some similar kind of law here in Thailand, which was crazy to me, because
that you have to blur the face.
Yeah, and it's not, the law was like deeper than that. I think you also have to like get their consent. You have to tell them how you use it. It's completely impractical to actually do in person. But Thailand, I think, has become very popular, like very mainstream, because of social media and YouTube and Instagram Reels and all this. If you made it illegal to make videos out in public, which is essentially what that would do, that would not be helping the tourism industry here whatsoever. Now, I also want to say, obviously, nobody should go out and cause a nuisance to other people in public or even in private establishments. Like if you're in a restaurant, it's up to the restaurant, like what they allow and don't allow. And a lot of places here in Thailand have signs that say like no camera, or they'll have rules that they'll enforce. But I'm saying, like, if you're walking around the street, if you're walking down the street talking about tourist attractions in Bangkok or street food, whatever, I just can't imagine them basically outlawing that.
Yeah.
Because if you wanted to make a vlog,
it's going to be hard.
Do you know how to blur people out?
I know, but it's going to be a lot of work that, the whole video, like, especially if you do the video on, like, with the street food, along the way, there's a lot of people, how you going to blur, like, all of them.
Yeah.
And it's going to look pretty weird. Like, when you see so many blurs on your video, it's kind of, like, not nice to see. But I understand why. But it's also, I don't know, but in Thailand, I don't think it's that strict, right?
Well, there already is what's it called? The PDP law?
PDP, yeah.
So maybe you can explain this, but Thailand has this privacy law that already is pretty strict.
Yeah, but I've seen some like Thai YouTubers that they start doing that, but it's not really a thing that you really need to ask for the permission to film. You just be like, can I film? And then if they're okay, they just okay.
Yeah. Well, let me run you through a few situations. So this whole controversy came from these nuisance streamers that would literally cause problems just for entertainment. So I think we can all agree that's not okay, especially when they're putting cameras in people's faces, filming them, like making fun of them.
Yeah.
That's not okay. But let's say we go to a restaurant. Let's say we go to whatever restaurant, it doesn't matter, for dinner, and we're like vlogging the dinner.
Yeah.
And like there's some people in the background. What do you think about that?
If they just walk past by, I don't think it's that we need to blur them. But if it's like people sitting behind you and can see their face clearly, then you should blur their face.
Okay. And the reason I said a restaurant is because it's a private business.
Yeah.
But what if we go to a temple in Bangkok, like a public area, and there's people in the background?
I mean, for me, if the camera is just focused your face, I don't think it's going to be a problem. Yeah. Only if maybe they make like, something important, like some activities or something that religious, maybe we should ask for the permissions first. Can we film that? It might be related to,
Okay. But what about like general public stuff, like walking down the street, eating some street food, some people walking in the background?
I think for me, as a Thai person, it's fine for me as long as the camera just focus only you. It's maybe you can see some of people face, but it's just quick, it's people just walk past by. So I don't feel that it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I want to look up here it's PDPA, right? PDPA law in Thailand. Let me see. I think a lot of foreigners don't really understand what this is. So the Personal Data Protection Act is Thailand's data privacy law that came into full effect in June of 2022. It governs how businesses, organizations, and individuals collect and use personal data, blah, 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 blah. Basically, it's got some strict guidelines for how you use people's data. I think also their image. But like a lot of things in Thailand, it's like a very strict rule that I think is rarely enforced. Like, let's say I appeared in someone's YouTube video in the background.
Mm-hmm.
I think according to the law, they need to get my permission. But no one really cares. Until one time something happens, like maybe someone is seen doing something they're not supposed to do, or, like I had a situation where a YouTuber, which I'm sure I've never told this story. There's a YouTuber who, how can I put this? He records a lot of people without their consent in Bangkok and going out at night. And he recorded, secretly, I guess I can say he secretly recorded a lady friend of mine. Like not in private, like in public, but she didn't know she was being filmed. And she was talking and they were talking. And then they were in the taxi and they were in other areas. And then they were talking about her. It was not good. And she like really was not happy because I sent it to her and I was like, oh, like did you see this? And I don't know if she messaged him to take it down or what, or she threatened to go to the police, but they took it down and then later they put it back up. So I'm not sure how seriously some of this stuff is enforced. But yeah.
Yeah.
I think you don't care because you're used to being like on camera and stuff. But some people are like extremely private. Or the other thing I see a lot is, especially when it comes to young Thai females in Bangkok, maybe they have, a boyfriend here or there or another place, and they don't want to be on camera because they don't want to be outed that they're with somebody else.
Yeah, could be. But I think for Thai people, they don't really care. Like as my, it's just like, just ask, can I film this? And then it's fine. If no, then it's no.
Well, I got in trouble myself recently because I was at, how can I put this carefully? I was at a new dining place, a new food location, and someone at that food location recorded a story. Not of me, but just of like the place. And I was in the background with the girl. And then this new place reposted that person's story. And then a friend of my ex-girlfriend saw it and said, hey, isn't this Eric? Sent it to her. And then guess who got an angry message the next day? I did. So should I complain to this place that they're violating my privacy rights? I don't know. So,
you can do
I think practically no, you can't. You just, my view.
I mean, it's not going to be a problem until that people that they saw themselves and they just really not okay, then it's become a problem. But like when we film something, how could we know? Like, especially in the restaurant, fine dining restaurant, how are we gonna know that customer come with someone, but this one is not?
Well, you don't. But that's why the question is: should people even be allowed to film? Or, and in this case, this dining place was not inside; it was outdoors, which I think makes a difference. It was outdoors. But going back to Tim Newton's video, all the comments, I was surprised. Not all of them, but a large majority of the comments were something along the lines of like, oh, these YouTubers, like there's too many of them in Thailand. We need to get rid of them. They shouldn't be filming videos. They were very negative against the YouTube people. And that's fine to have your opinion, but I also think like you have to be practical. Like even if Thailand created more laws in addition to this PDPA law, I think it would be really hard to enforce.
I understand the law, but the point is just how can you make it like easy to understand that this one, yes, you can do, this one, no, this one, it's okay, you can do, this one, no. Like you really don't know like which one is really a yes, which one really a no to do.
Well, because I filmed my other channel, a lot of videos around Bangkok, around Thailand, and I've never had a problem. And my rule is look around. If it seems okay, film. Yeah. If someone...
Or maybe until you reach 1 million subscribers, then could be a problem.
Yeah. I don't have that problem yet.
Well, when you reach 1 million, people are just like, oh, why it has my face on your video? You didn't ask for my permission. Now maybe if you have like 10K subscribers, maybe they don't care. But once you're famous, then...
Well, I think there's also a little bit of common sense people can use. Like, if you're in a place you're not sure, I would either ask my Thai friend who I'm with because they might have a better understanding of the feeling, Or I would ask like, hey, do you mind if I, just like that. And if they say no, it's okay. I don't think anyone has really ever said no. Like I would even go into a shoe store, right? In the mall.
Yeah.
And do something with like, So I think it's a lot of how you approach it.
Yeah. I used to film like something at the airport when I was in US, and then the guard at the airport just came up to me
oh,
like,
really?
Yeah, and he's like, what did you do? What did you just do? And I was like, I just take video because at the airport, I just take like the name, to see like, oh, which airport I was at. And then he just came up to me and he's so scary. He's so tall and big. And then he came up to me and like, can you just delete it? Yeah, okay.
Really?
Yeah, because it showed, but it's very little. I didn't try, of course, why I'm gonna take a pic of you. Like, I don't know you. Like, you're not my type. Like, why? What is wrong? But he just said like, oh, we are not allowing you to take any photos or video of the security here. I said like, I understand, but I didn't mean to take your picture for sure.
Oh.
But yeah, I understand.
All right, so you guys let us know why we're wrong, why all the YouTubers should be banned from Thailand. Please let us know in the comments down below.
Yeah.
Last topic I wanted to cover really quick is, and again, I don't know exactly when this video will publish, but there's some big changes with the cannabis laws in Thailand. So who could have predicted this? I remember, was it 2 years ago now? They legalized the marijuana, and like the day it became legal, I walk outside and all these stores are already there. They're like already ready to go. There's so many shops everywhere. And when I saw that, I thought like, there's no way this is going to last because, and I'm telling you guys about this story, not because of really anything to do with marijuana specifically, because whatever, like I don't smoke. If you want to smoke, you smoke. I don't care. And please don't lecture me in the comments about why marijuana is the greatest gift from God. I really don't care. Okay. But I think it's a good illustration of how things work in Thailand because they have some genius idea like, oh, we need more tourists. What can we do? Oh, let's legalize marijuana. And I actually think that is something that brought in a certain category of tourists. A lot of people before, I have friends in America who said they will not visit Thailand because of the laws about marijuana before. So I think that actually was something that brought in some segment of the population. I don't know if it's the tourists they wanted because they always go on about how they want wealthy tourists and this and that, and they want to get away from the backpacker image. But then they did the thing where they legalized marijuana and then, But once they legalized it and I saw how they had this huge, like basically overreaction where everybody opened a shop and now it's everywhere. And I'm thinking like, oh, this is not going to last because Thailand at its core is historically a very conservative country. And the way I view things here is what the law is and what people think you should do are often separate things. So in America, it's more black and white. If something's legal, it's legal. Okay, it's okay. If something's illegal, it's not okay. You shouldn't do it. But here, it's like they want to have both. They made it legal, but they don't really want people to smoke marijuana. So when they had all these shops open, and then I guess they did these studies that showed, oh, what do you know? Way more people are smoking marijuana now, including kids. Like, well, that was an obvious, that's obviously that's going to happen. Yeah. That's an obvious result to this whole thing. They don't like it. So even a year ago, I think they debated changing something and they didn't. And now, according to what I just read, which I'll pull it up from the Bangkok Post here, it says Thai cannabis stores fear for their future. Move by the government to recriminalize cannabis is shaking up the $1 billion industry. So from what I read, I'll quickly summarize. It's going to be prescription only now, only for medical purposes, not recreational use. To buy it, you need a prescription. Yeah. And apparently you're only allowed to buy up to a month's supply, which I think I read was like 30 grams a month. I could be wrong on that, but they really seem to be imposing some strict limits.
Yeah, but I think it's still gonna be here forever because like even before they legalize it, it's already has it. Like so many people smoke it, they sell it. You know,
Yeah.
without having any shop, they already done that like for so many years, and I've seen a lot. My friends had it, so even like it's legal or illegal, it doesn't really affect. It's affect to the shop, but it doesn't really affect to the people like the smoker.
I think it does because if it's legal, it enables the police to go after people hard. You know, like those checkpoints they have, they search you or they bust into a club and they.
Yeah, but then after that, maybe 6 months, a year, I think they will find a way to make it easy for them for sure.
Well, I dated a Thai girl who's the manager manager of a marijuana shop.
Okay.
And I remember mentioning something to her like, aren't you afraid they're going to reverse the law on this? Because I felt like this was coming. And she said, no, they can never do that. There's so much investment already. Blah, blah. But that's the thing. That's what's crazy about Thailand is they can do that and they will do that. They'll say, oh yeah, okay, this is fine now. Everybody dumps all this money into it, all this infrastructure, all these shops. And then they say, oh, you know what? Yeah, never mind about that. And they just flip it. And they don't even give like a long lead time. As far as I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, once they put this into the Royal Gazette, it's law. It's not like they said January 1st of 2026, this law will change. It's like, no, tomorrow it changes. So yeah, let's see what's going to happen. Again,
yeah, we'll see.
Don't lecture me about the marijuana thing. That's not really my point. My point is more just like doing anything in Thailand is so much more complicated than I think a lot of outsiders understand. As far as starting a business here, trying to get anything going, because this is the stuff that you have to contend with. So let me know what you think down below. I'm sure there's other examples of this people can think of. Like visas. This kind of thing happens with visas all the time.
Yeah.
Where they make one thing and then they reverse it and then they change it again. They say, just kidding.
Welcome to Thailand.
Yeah. So anyway, that's it for this week, guys. I wanted to just bring up a few of those situations I've been dealing with or I've seen this week. I'm sure you guys can relate to some of those. So please let me know your experiences down below. Tell us why we're wrong or I'm wrong or Ern's wrong or Ern's right. And usually it's Ern's right and I'm wrong. Okay. So feel free to drop that down below. If you guys have any other questions, drop them in the comments, hit the subscribe button, and we will see you in the next one.